What's up, my juice lovers? Welcome to the Cold Press Truth. This is Charlie Wetlaufer. Today, I'm going to talk about what has been my most popular blog article I've ever written, which is the top 5 tips to starting a juice business. But before we get into that, if you like these educational videos, let me know by hitting the like button and subscribing to my channel. All right, so the first tip before you start your juice company, make sure you know the laws surrounding juice in your area. Do a little bit of research, call the local health department, and figure out what you're allowed to do, what you're allowed not to do. For example, in the US, under federal law, you cannot make raw juice and sell it wholesale. You can only sell it direct to consumer. So you can make juice and you can sell it to the person that's going to drink it. But you can't make juice and sell it to another business like a cafe or a grocery store that will sell it to the customer unless it's been pasteurized or HPP'd to extend the shelf life. This was a law passed in I believe it was 1996, because somebody got sick off of raw juice. In my opinion, they overreacted. It's also very, very beneficial to the big beverage companies that sell soda that it's harder for companies like yours to sell raw juice. So just be aware of that. However, the laws are much less strict in Canada, Australia, Europe, most countries in Asia, except for Japan. Japan is also strict. In Japan, you have to make juice and sell it at the same location where it's made. You can't even transport it to another one of your juice bars. At least in the US, if you have like a central kitchen where you make your juice and then maybe say 5 different juice bars owned by the same business, it's okay to make the juice in one location, transport it to another, and then sell it to the customer, because technically it's the same company making the juice and selling it direct to consumer. So that's the first tip, is know the laws. Tip number 2, figure out which business model you want to use. By business model, I mean, are you going to do e-commerce, online orders and delivery only? Are you going to be a juice bar, which is a brick and mortar store where people can walk in and order juice in the location? Are you going to be a wholesale company that has a factory and sells to grocery stores? Or are you going to be a combination? Maybe you have a few juice bars and you also take online orders and you wholesale. In my opinion, that's the way to make the best out of your space, is really utilize everything you have to use as many distribution channels as possible. Check out the link in my article for a video by my friend Shizu Okusa about running an omni-channel business. Tip number 3, get the right equipment. Too many times I've seen juice business owners get excited about opening a juice bar, and they spend all this money on designing the juice bar and the fit out and the furniture, making the place look fancy. But then when it comes down to the juice equipment, they want to save money, okay? And they buy something cheap. And the cheap machine breaks down. It takes more labor cost. It has more food waste. Maybe you need 3 small machines instead of just using the money to buy one big one. And when you have 3 machines and 3 people working on 3 machines, think about all that money you're spending on paying those people to make the juice. You're siphoning money out of your business. If you feel like equipment's too expensive and you can't afford it, then you probably just need to find an investor or save more money before you start your business. Tip number 4, make sure you have an expert on your team. An expert could be someone that's owned or managed another juice business, or maybe if it's not a juice business, maybe they manage a restaurant or another food and beverage business, because food and beverage is very different, right? It's a very perishable item, and it takes special knowledge to manage a kitchen. And although it's a very competitive and tough industry, it's also an industry where I've seen a lot of people get into it because they're really passionate about it, but they don't actually have the experience needed to be successful. So make sure you either hire someone on your team or you hire a consultant to get started. There's several really good juicing consultants out there now. We have one at Good Nature named Ari Sexner. He wrote the best book on creating juice recipes that's out there, called The Juicing Companion. And he's worked with probably at this point over 100 juice companies and helping them get started. So you can either hire Ari, you can hire one of the other consultants in the industry, but make sure you have an expert helping you. And tip number 5, the final tip, make sure you know your numbers. Business is all about numbers, okay? If you're not comfortable in spreadsheets, I really recommend learning spreadsheets. You'll need spreadsheets to manage your inventory and your cost of goods and doing calculations and just like projections and stuff. And again, if this is something you're not comfortable with, just have someone on your team that is. There's plenty of people out there that are comfortable doing this stuff. So I guess that kind of goes back to tip number 4, is having an expert. The expert doesn't only have to be good at juice, but make sure maybe the expert also knows the numbers if you're not comfortable with that. Again, there's lots of articles on the Good Natured blog about calculating your cost of goods and your profitability and everything. So check out the blog at Good Natured if you haven't seen it yet. And those are my top 5 tips for starting a juice business. If you have any questions, just go ahead and leave a comment in the video here, or head over to the Good Natured community discussion forums at community.goodnatured.com. Please subscribe to my channel. Peace, love, juice.